This fourth video of 4 in the settings, which is the gear on the top there, I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And we're going to start all the way down here by the wallpaper, and we're going to see how far we can get down that's useful to you. So the first thing that I'm going to look at is wallpaper. And so you can change your background or your wallpaper to whatever you would like. And so where it says choose a new wallpaper, there's that arrow there. So you can just click on that and you can see that I have 2,273 photos. So I can take that and maybe I want to do this one here of when my dog was a puppy. And so it's loading that, and then I can pinch that to wherever I want so that I can do this and I can say set. And I can set that as my lock screen, I can set that as my home screen, or I can set that as both. And so I'll set that as just my lock screen. And so when I minimize my iPad now, notice that it's still not there. That's not it. So I'm going to double click and go back into my settings. And I'll set this one of my son when he was younger. And I'll hit set. And I'll set that as my home screen. And notice now that that's my background there. And so if I were to lock my iPad, you would see the picture of my dog and I, and then that's the actual wallpaper itself. So there's where you can go ahead and change those things. And then you can use the dark appearance, dims the wallpaper. And again, we saw what dark appearance, the dimming looks like on the dark appearance. Next, I have Siri in the search. So Siri's great, and if you want to open up apps to use Siri, if you want Siri to lock things, if you want Siri to respond to just do a bunch of different things, you can do a lot with Siri. Inside Canvas, I will post a link to all things Siri for you so you understand a little bit more about Siri. But if you were looking for anything with Siri, you can go ahead and you can kind of see what works with Siri and what doesn't work with Siri. Next is the Touch ID, and this is very important if you are using your iPad a lot in school and you want to lock it. So you can use a finger ID if you want to unlock it. You can use that for the iTunes Store. You can use it for Wallet and Apple Pay, and you can also use it for passwords if you'd like. You can add a fingerprint, so you can have multiple fingerprints if you would like. Or if you have a significant other that would also like access to your iPad, you can have them put their fingerprint in, so when they open it up, they can do that. You could also, instead of doing a fingerprint, you could do a passcode. And so I have my passcode turned on. And then when the iPad is locked, these are certain things that you can have turned on so that you don't have to unlock it. And then there's the erase data after 10 fail. So if somebody's trying to break into your iPad, if this was turned on after 10 attempts, it will completely erase your iPad. And so that's there for you. Next is battery, and it's just basically what it says it is. This is the battery, and it kind of gives you some good information about the battery. So the last 24 hours, you can kind of see my screen's been on for an hour and 50 minutes, and these are the things that I've used in that time frame. If I can go back a little bit farther to the last 10 days, this is what's been used. So it kind of gives you an idea of what it is you're using and whatnot. If you'd like, you can put the low power mode on, so that temporarily reduces the background activity like downloads and mail fetch until you can fully charge your iPad. So kind of when your iPad's in this low power mode, it kind of saves the battery for you. So if you see your battery is starting to die. This next section is privacy, and you may visit the privacy often in some of the apps we're going to use in this course. And the reason you're going to do that is because you might need to allow the microphone. And so one app that I'm thinking about right away is, if I click on microphone, there it is. Apple Clips is something that we can turn the microphone on for. Let's see, what else? So maybe not. Let's check location services and see what's in there. Yep. So location services is basically saying, yep, you want to allow the app to locate where you actually are. So for weather, if you want to use the weather, yep, do it. While using the App Store, it kind of gives you that. And I use that on my phone a lot because if I'm at a certain place and I'm looking for restaurants, that kind of helps me a little bit with it. My camera, always I keep that on because then it tags where you are location wise. So that's nice to have. And so those are the types of things that you can do with privacy. Next is the App Store. And so these are just some settings that, again, personal preference. You can automatically have apps download. You can automatically have apps update if both of those are turned on. I have the downloads turned off because what that means is if I don't download an app on my iPhone, it automatically comes over to my iPad, and I don't want that turned on. I kind of try and decipher between the two. I do have turned on though updates. I don't want to have to go find and see when there's an update. So whenever I'm on Wi-Fi, it will automatically update my iPad without even notifying me. I keep the in-app ratings and reviews turned on just because I like to look at the feedback to see what other people have said about it. And then this last feature is the offload unused apps. This is a great feature because if you're not using an app for a certain amount of time, it will go up into the cloud for you and it saves space on your iPad. Now, the downside to that is if you don't have a lot of cloud storage, you might have a bunch of apps that are up there in the cloud and it might be taking up your cloud space. And so I'll have a little bit of description about cloud space later on as well. Next is Wallet and Apple Pay. Right now I have nothing turned on my iPad, but I do have this turned on my iPhone. And you'll notice that a lot of retail stores now have Apple Pay that you can use. So I have my credit card on. I go to the Wallet app and I can just kind of scan my card, and it's kind of like an automatic boom done when I go through certain stores. Starbucks has it. Target is another one that has it. Trying to think who else. There, you'll see the Panera is another one that has it. So I'm just trying to think of some of the places that I've gone to that I've seen it. So that's there for you. If you put it on your iPad, it will save your credit card. And so if you're searching or buying something online in Safari, you can enable that so that your credit card is in there. Next is passwords. Passwords are great so that you can kind of see um, what passwords have been saved and what haven't been saved. And so you can see all the different passwords that my wife and I have saved on our Safari. This goes back to our computers as well, so that's nice. And then the rest of the apps here, I have contacts. That's just all the people that are how I set my address book up. I have my calendars, so I can add calendars if I wanted to. And if I go to my accounts, you can see that I have an iCloud account. I have a Southwest Athletics. I have my school account. And if I wanted to put my Gmail on there, I have that on there as well. And I could add another account. I have my notes, and so I could add a password to my notes. I can say that it's on there. Um, Media, if I take a picture in my notes, I can have that saved to my photos or not. Right now I have it turned off. Reminders are something that I don't use. Some people use reminders because when they come home at night on a Thursday night, they pull into the driveway and say, hey, don't forget to put out the trash or order this prescription. Those types of things could be used for reminders. Voice memos. Basically, there's a voice recording app that you can use, and so they can be deleted after 30 days because they take up space. Compressed videos, audio quality, sorry. Messages. So I have iMessages turned off on my iPad. If I had them turned on, I could receive messages on my iPad, my iPhone, and my Mac. So that's there. FaceTime is also turned off, but again, if I toggle this on, I can have that turned on so that FaceTime messages or video calls would come through on my iPad. Safari, we'll go over this a little bit later. And then we have Translate, which ESL teachers do not like this app at all because kids are using it often for turning in papers. Shortcuts, I don't really use. So Home is something else that if you can see that that's in the cloud. I can use my iPad as a home hub. And so I have some smart devices in my house that I could set up with Home if I really wanted to. And then the last couple of things here are the photos. And so I have enabled iCloud Photos so that that's shared amongst all my devices. That's why I have over 2,000 pictures. You also have optimized iPad storage, and I can download and keep the original if I wanted to. So that's just compared full resolution to lower resolution photos. Shared albums I have turned off, but I could have other people share albums with me, and we could use them or add pictures to them. And this is where I can transfer pictures to my Mac or PC. I do it automatically. And here's my camera. You can change the settings. I can put the camera mode on if I wanted to. I can record my video at 1080p. I can scan QR codes, which is great because then it automatically opens up something. I can turn on a grid. I can mirror the front photos, and I can keep original if I wanted to. And then I have podcasts and Game Center. I don't do a whole lot with the Game Center at all. And then the TV provider, when I'm oftentimes looking at things, some of the TV apps, it'll ask me who my TV provider is. So I put that in there as YouTube TV. And so it automatically kind of recognizes that. All the other things in settings are apps that you would have on your iPad. And there's different things that you can do with different apps. And as you work through them, you can kind of just take a look and see what those are. So this is the last of the settings videos.